What's next? Well, let's do the tail. Unfortunately with this kit, the tail comes pre-assembled. So what we're going to have to do is cut this bad boy open, dump out all the parts, and we're going to have to, oh that's kind of nasty. There we go. Take everything apart and reassemble it. Make sure it's Loctited. You don't want this thing flying apart on you when you're in the air because you didn't check your Loctite to make sure it was properly done. Upon inspection, you'll notice that the tail slider gets screwed plastic into plastic. This little bolt here comes through the slider into the plastic grips here. I'm not a huge fan of screwing into plastic because I think it's just so soft and can strip out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of CA, put it on a toothpick, and then come on the back side of the slider and put some CA right in that hole from the back side. You don't want to go on the front side that you screw into because it can too easily get into your little bushing in there then. So just take and put a little bit on the inside of the back side of the hole in order to, when you screw the bolt in there then, hopefully the CA will stop it from backing out at any point unnecessarily. So again, just a little drop on the toothpick, put it in the back side of this hole here. And now I'm going to take and screw my little bolt back in. And it was just the tiniest amount, just to keep it from backing out. You don't want it getting into that little bushing, because then your whole tail will get messed up and it won't be nice and smooth. So we'll do that to the other side now. Take this one out. Take a little drop of CA, just the smallest amount. Come on the back side of the hole. And then screw our bolt back in. There. Make sure everything's still nice and free after you've done that. You don't want anything binding or sticky on your tail, that's for sure. Because that'll throw off your gyro or your flybar of the system or whatever it is that you're going to be using. And then the final part, which is inside there, you'll see a nut that has the nylon coating in there. It's a lock nut on the inside of your grips. You just want to double check that to make sure that's in there nice and snug. Because it's a lock nut, it's not going to back out on you or anything, so you don't need to put any Loctite on those either. What's kind of nice about these is you don't have to take your tail grip totally apart in order to find out if they're stuck in there nice. So that's about it for that. Now we want to take and check the mount on the boom in order to make sure everything on there is nice and Loctited. So let's grab that. You'll want to check, there's 3 bolts on each side here. You'll want to check all 3 of those. And then 3 on the other side here. Check all 3 of those. And then make sure your boom is clamped down really good onto the tail. And this bolt actually goes all the way through, so it locks it so it can't spin on you. I checked all mine were Loctited, but again, I always double check because you never know if one gets missed or anything like that. Once that is done, we just simply take our tail, slide it on. Might have to do some finagling. It's kind of a pain to get on, actually. And you'll see little indents on the tail shaft here. And that's where you simply line it up with your, there's little set screws inside here. You can back those out because we're going to want to put Loctite on them anyway. And you line up your set screws with the little indentations on the shaft, and then you just screw them in. And then that'll be nice and tight, and your tail will pretty much be done. And so I'll go ahead and do that, and let you know if I run into anything. Okay, if you look on the shaft, you can see there's two sets of indentations. There's one further out, and then one closer in. I want the most authority my tail can get, so I'm going to actually use the ones furthest out. So when we put our tail slider on here, I'm going to line up my set screws with the indentations that are furthest out on the tail. That way it gives me a little more room to get a little more pitch in my tail blades. Now your pitch slider simply comes up, line it up with the ball on the tail, and then it just screws right into and actually that's metal, so I'm going to put a drop of Loctite in there as well. And you can just come in from the back side on here. And after you have it screwed in, put your little nylon bolt on,